Hi guys, welcome to Visions for You Tarot. I'm Sarah and this is your reading on why are they so triggered by you. So as you can see, there's three groups for you to choose from. For group one, we have Shungite and the Death card. Group two, Polychrome Jasper. The Ten of Swords, everything is fine. And for group three, Larimar and the Knight of Swords. So go ahead and select your pile using your intuition, whatever pile you are most drawn to. I will give you a few moments and I will see you in your reading. The description, the timestamps will be in the description box below. Okay, hi group one, those of you who picked the Shungite, why are they so triggered by you? This is your reading. So, okay, so we have the King of Swords came up here twice, upward and also in reverse. So I feel that this is the energy of the person who you're asking about or who we're talking about. And then this other side has to do with you and then also them as well. So the reason why they're so triggered by you, it has to do with this Capricorn in reverse. I'm getting like an insecurity. Like this is like a major insecurity on their part. And then with Capricorn, I keep feeling like this goat. Like the goat, like the greatest of all time. I think that they see okay, and with death here, okay, let me go back a little bit. So we have death, we have a change in the wind, we have the Wheel of Fortune, we have murder in reverse, get more information, sleep is a spiritual practice, and sacred phoenix heart, and we have the number 21 and 12, which is like the inverse of each other. So this has to do with their insecurity. So these individuals are coming across as King of Swords. So individuals who are very logic based, who I believe really value, yes, their logic, but also their ability to strategize and systematize and categorize things. I think they spend a lot of time in their head. And with this get more information, I feel like they're constantly trying to get more information on things so that they can deal better with change, right? Here we have death, which is an ending, a change in the wind, and Wheel of Fortune, which is also a major change, but for the better, or the end of a cycle. So this is where their insecurity lies in their ability to change, right? And so I'm also getting, like, how Albert Einstein said, there's a quote, like, the same thinking that created a problem cannot be used to find a solution, right? It's like that same paradigm. It's like something has to completely change and transform in order for you to find a solution or to get out of a predicament or a scenario or a situation or whatever, right? And so this is what I'm seeing as with the sacred phoenix heart is this transformation. It's like you have to totally allow your thoughts, your feelings, like your so many things about you to dissolve and disintegrate. I just heard positive disintegration, or it's like it has to break down, and that can be very painful. And with this King of Swords energy, I'm getting someone who isn't the most adept or well versed in dealing with emotions. Like their comfort zone is in their mind, in their thinking. And they're very quick witted. Like I'm getting this Mercury feeling right now with how they are. And so they're very stumped, right? But again, it's that saying that I just said of like you cannot solve the same issue with you cannot solve a problem using the same thinking that created the problem to begin with, right? So if they're in their head, like there's something I think that they're seeing in you, you're triggering this insecurity in them because of the way that you are changing, the way that you deal with transformation. I'm getting of a spiritual nature, and I feel like with a change in the wind, for some of you guys, this is a change either that is just in the wind. So what I take that to mean is something that they can perceive, right? Maybe they can't quite pinpoint it with get more information, like it hasn't fully reached its maturity, but they can sense that there's something happening or something has changed with you. Um, and it's making them look at themselves, right? Because I'm seeing this Sphinx up here, and I always take this figure to be someone who's above it all and is watching the changes, someone who's outside of the change and is able to see it. And there's something about it that's bringing them insecurity. And when I'm seeing this Shungite as well, this stone is really, really good for transformation, particularly to stabilize the lower chakras during that process. And not just that, it's transmutation as well, right? So it's good with as an antioxidant. They say it can help purify water, like cleansing. And then also it's able to absorb like EMFs and like convert them into some other wave or frequency that is, and I just saw lightning outside, that is more, I guess, easily for humans' biology to like take in. So there's something about transformation or transmutation, and they see that in you, and it's triggering insecurity in them. And another thing I feel like they are stumped for is the way, like they're trying to get more info, right? I just heard like intel, right? So they're very, maybe some of these people are the types of people who they're not going to come out and just tell you about this. Like when I say intel, it's like I'm thinking of like the CIA or secret agencies like CSIS in Canada, that do this stuff very incognito, right? Like just below, like they're not going to come and tell you that they're watching you. They're just going to do their investigation and get their intel on their own. And so they are, instead of coming to ask you sort of thing, right? So they're trying to get more information on, because here we have murder, right? So, and when I look at this murder picture, is it says learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself for a cause. No, let me just read that again. I'm getting distracted. Learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself for a cause. Or I did say that right. Shadow, addiction to self-pity. And I just got you're bringing out like an insecurity and a sort of like a feeling sorry for themselves. Anyway, but the way that this person here is really literally leading with their heart. Like they're being, it's like their heart takes them. Look at this. They're leading with their heart. Their heart is pulling them forward. Their brain, their head comes after, like everything else comes after, right? It's like literally whatever prompts the heart was where they're led, and everything else comes after, right? So that's what I'm getting with you. I'm getting that with you is you are a person who could be involved in a spiritual practice. Sleep is a spiritual practice. Someone who's involved in, I just heard like the dark, involved in the dark. No, in like the mysteries, like in things that are not readily quantifiable. Like I'm thinking of the scientific method, like you have to use your it's everything that's observable in like the 3D, right? And so you're doing things that are not easily observable in the 3D, like all of these things that Shungite is said to do. I'm sure it is observable under like certain like conditions or whatever, right? But it isn't easily observable. And so they're triggered by you here with Sacred Phoenix Heart, right? Because this goes with this card of the martyr and being led by your heart and leading with your heart is, the Phoenix. This is very, and it's Sacred Phoenix Heart. It's like the type of heart that is willing to, when you think of the phoenix, it's like about endings, right? The phoenix rising from the ashes of the flames. It's like there's loss, there's disappointment, there's grieving. Like I'm getting that heaviness in my heart right now, but it's something that emerges from that. It's like the phoenix emerges new and reborn. And I'm seeing a butterfly right here in front of me. And I'm getting this butterfly feeling of this transformation that into like a complete change of who you are, and it being something that is for the better, and I think this person is having such a hard time pinpointing it with you, with get more information. It's like they wanna figure it out on their own, but it's hard to do so using logic, right? um, it's because this is like a different part of us is our heart. So you can, and now I'm thinking of, there's brain tissue in our hearts. Like our hearts have the capability of thinking, like they have their own, brain, so to speak, right? And so, it's different, right? It's different. Um, and I think also too, it's okay. So sticking to the triggers is like, yeah. So I'm getting that this person feels like there's something completely opposite with 21 and 12, right? I'm getting this is like the complete inverse. This is like the mirror. This is the shadow of this person, right? Because here we have the King of Swords upwards and then in reverse, and I'm seeing the 21 and the 12 as being like a mirror or a shadow of this person. Is that there is some type of weakness that they sense in themselves when it comes to their spirituality, their heart, and being able to deal with things maybe on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, and really like these are things that have to do with like also your, I want to say, destiny and your fortune, your wheel of fortune, like unlocking that. I'm thinking of the Ten of Pentacles. It's like I'm getting like this karmic cycle for this person that they are trying to like break out of, and they're just so confused. Like I'm getting a confusion even with this zebra, right? Because I'm thinking of a bunch of zebras standing in the wherever they stand, like in the Sahara, in the Serengeti, someplace in Africa, and they're all grouped together, and then there's a lion that's coming for them, and they're just like he's like he can't really tell, he can't see, um, one zebra from the other because they're all striped, right? And I don't think that their vision is clear enough or like distinct enough to be able to say, okay, well, that's one zebra and that's one zebra. It's like they just look like a whole herd of, like, he can't distinguish like who's who or what's what. It's very confusing, and I'm getting that really confused feeling. And with the compass at the top here is like it's like confused, and it's N and S. So I'm getting like north node, south node. It's like they want to move forward, like in their mind, they want to like move forward, and in the sense of like they want to get out of their comfort zone. They want the results of moving into their north, like moving into their calling or their purpose. But there's something that is holding them down, holding them back. And it has to do with this element of their heart. And they see that you embrace change. I feel from you, like, even with this martyr energy, it's like there's something very loving, I'm getting like the Fool card as well, is somebody who has faith beyond, literally somebody can look at you, with all due respect, and say that you're a fool, in the sense that, like, when we talk about the Fool, right? I'm getting like, it's that level of faith, that level of willingness to just follow something, without any evidence to necessarily support it, but just knowing that this is where your heart is led and this is where you have to go. When we think of the heart, and we think of all of the things that, like, the heart can make us believe in things. When you think of a mother with a child, it's like finding a way out of no way, because your heart, it's like that's like the source of bravery, of courage, of all of these things that make a person like move forward against all odds, or in the face of danger, or in the face of fear. That is all things of the heart. And when I think of even people who have had a very spiritual nature or a practice, like all of the what's it called, like spiritual leaders, you know what I mean? There's been many people who have looked at them like fools, essentially, because they're like, well, where is this person's head at? Like, I'm just thinking of Martin Luther King or whatever, trying to end, or in Nelson Mandela with apartheid, or just trying to end like certain civil rights issues. And, to think that they came up in a time where this is all that they knew, this segregation of black people and white people, or whatever it is. And like they're coming out with something so radical and so different, and believing in it against the evidence. All evidence is to the contrary, in fact, and still following their heart, in service to what their heart is calling them to do, right? So, anyway, I feel like I just said a lot right there. That's the power of the heart, right? It's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing. And this person here is like, it's like, damn, like, it's like I'm just seeing like someone having a flashlight, like literally a freaking flashlight. Let me get a flashlight just for the visual effect of it. And just, well, it's not going to work. Anyway, it's just like putting a light on something. It's like exposing them, putting a light on something that makes them feel very insecure, because they don't see it as their strong suit. And this is something that they want so much for, is to I feel like this person likes to feel like that they know stuff. Like, I'm just getting that feeling of like, I'm getting the feeling of like in their shadow with this in reverse, and the white hair is like, and this owl is like, there's something, this is like triggered, but there's an admiration of this aspect of you. you know, I'm also getting to like I just heard real recognizes real, but I'm feeling like I don't know how to, like, it's just a feeling, and like an image that I'm getting is like there's a level, like, this person respects you, like has a level of respect for you, because it's like they see that you, it's like someone who's really good at one sport, like someone, so here's an example. Someone who's a really good, like, say you're an Olympian, or someone else is like an Olympian, like they're really good at the, I don't know, some sprint or whatever, right? And then they meet someone who's like, a swimmer, whatever, and they're competing on a very high level. They're gonna respect the other person, even though it's a different sport that they play. It's a different skill set. It's a different sport, but they know what it is what it takes, what it requires for you to be performing at the highest levels. And so they have a respect for you, I'm feeling like this person has a respect for you, because while they may be more in the elements of like the mental aspect, they see that you're more in the elements of the heart and the spiritual aspect, and that you are, maybe an expert, maybe or just they see something advanced about you, and sacred, and advanced about you. And so they have a level of respect for it. And I'm also seeing that with, like, I'm also feeling this feeling as well with, like, the divine masculine, divine feminine. It's like the feminine respecting the masculine, and it's like being in harmony with one another, and just really appreciating one another and what they bring to the table, right? Like, and then feeling like, yeah, like, I really admire you. I respect you. I want you on my team. I want you on my side. But there's also this triggering of an insecurity where it's like, I don't have that. Like, this is completely your realm. And so I think that there's times where they're like completely out of their element. Some people like to stay in their element, you know? Some people really like to stay in their element. Like, they don't want to venture out into a place where, I just heard they don't know shit. They don't like to venture out there, right? They like to have that control or that feeling of knowing what they're doing. And it's difficult. Like, that's what they say when you're learning something new, right? You have to be willing to look like a fool, like you don't know what you're doing. And so I think with this person, once they enter your element, that's essentially, it's just this insecurity, right? And so this is what is triggering them, and I'm being brought to this Wheel of Fortune. So they just think it's time. It's time for them to get more info, to learn more about the spirituality, certain practices that you may have, because they see that it is going to help them when it comes to change, when it comes to transformation, when it comes to transmutation. There's a lot of elements that have to do with your emotions and with your heart. And this, I get a feminine sort of energy from this as well. And so yeah, so they're recognizing that with this Capricorn is like the goat is like, maybe you're just like, at an expert level in a different area than they are. And, but they recognize that takes a lot of work, but it triggers them. So yeah, so that's your reading. If you like this reading, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to see more videos, and I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Okay, hi, group 2. This is your reading. Okay, those of you who picked this Polychrome Jasper and the Ten of Swords, everything is fine. What are they so triggered, or why are they so triggered by you? Okay, I forgot to do that. Okay, so, okay. We have the Four of Cups. Everything is fine. So this is an ending where I perceive this to be you, right? So when things end, you're very cool with it. I feel like you're someone who's kind of cool with endings, or it's not that necessarily you're cool with it, but this is how they perceive you to be, that you see it as okay and that everything's fine. And I could see them with 32 chaos, so 32, the number 5 is change, difficulty, conflict. I think maybe they are a person who has difficulty with change, or just being in this in-between transitional period, like when one thing ends, and another thing has yet to, people do have a tendency, there is people out there, many people who want to hold on to things much longer than, than they should, really, out of fear of, wanting to just control things. Like, I feel like they think everything, how there's some people who have OCD. Like, I'm getting this OCD type of feeling. Maybe it doesn't have to be to a point where it's like a clinical issue. But a thing of like, but just a natural, normal response. Like, some people have a very strong desire to control their environment. or to control things from falling apart, from things turning into utter chaos. And they're very meticulous. Like, I'm getting this very meticulous sort of energy from this person. Like, is this with the psychic touch? I feel that this card is applying in two ways. It's implying, okay, I'll stick with implying. It's implying that this is their touch, this is their imprint on things, right? They have a desire to want to contain it or control things in order for, all hell not to break loose. And they're triggered by you because you are not that. You're like, okay, this is ending, this person wants to go, this is whatever, okay, let it be. There's like, I feel like a level of faith, and here you have no need to worry. That's you. It's like, there's no need to worry, everything will be fine. There will be sort of like, I'm getting this thing of like, a storm, or like a desert storm, or something where or a hurricane, where all of this stuff comes in, and there's like, everything is just turned into a mess. And they're just trying to like control it, or they're afraid of this. And they're trying to have an imprint on their environment, when such that things stay as they are, or they stay categorized as they should, so everything can be okay, as it should be, because they feel like it's chaos. And I feel their trigger with you is that with sleep as a spiritual practice, I feel like you're, first of all, at rest, here with everything is fine, no need to worry. And with sleep, like, or they may think you're asleep, at the wheel, like, in the sense that, you just let things happen. It's like, I'm just getting like this person that's like scolding, that's like, how could you let this happen? And, another thing that is very triggering, I'll put this back in reverse, is, how I'm seeing this Nine of Coins, and it's directly above chaos, right? This conflict and chaos. There's another card in another deck called Conflict and Chaos. And I feel like, after the storm passes, you're like, okay, you come out, and this is you, right? And you're just walking down the path and just picking, what you want. Like, okay, this is different now. Okay, I like this, I like this. Like, you're seeing it as an opportunity for you to, with the Nine of Coins, enjoy something new. Not just new, but just like it's like benefiting you in some way, right? Like, you're open to it. You see opportunities in it. You get a new selection of things that you can pick from now. It's like that type of energy, right? So you're not one to control endings or things from getting a little chaotic. It's just really reminding me of someone that I know who, this is a family member who, like, they'll complain about, this is their energy right here, right? This Four of Cups, like, over it, like, they're just not happy. Like, they're just very not happy about a particular situation, for example. And it's the same situation over and over and over and over again. And then, I just come in and say, okay, they're like, if I don't do this, then, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And I'll say, okay, well, then stop doing it. Let it happen. Like, it'll be sorted out. Like, there might be good stuff, but they cannot just let it happen, because all hell will break loose. It will be complete chaos and disaster, in their mind. And so their touch on their environment is one to control it, as opposed to, and this is what, with this Queen of Pentacles in reverse, I'm getting like, this is what takes away, this takes away their independence, because now they are dependent on controlling their environment, controlling things. It takes away their feeling of their health. Like, I feel like their mental health, it affects their mental health. And I feel too is like, maybe they want you to do this with them as well, because this family member that I'm telling you about is like, there's this, like, they would appeal to me, they would try to appeal to me and say, well, I need your help to do this, because if this doesn't happen and we got to do this, and it's like so much work, it's a lot of work. And I'm like, so you're just going to keep doing that like forever, like indefinitely? It's just like the worst thing. Like, it makes no sense to me. I'm like, just let it happen. It will balance itself out. Like, just let it be. Like, just take a step back and let it be chaos. Obviously it's going to be chaos at first, but things will balance out. Things will figure itself out. You have to, and I would always say to them, I would say the problem is you don't want to let things play out. You have to let things play out, you know? But there's too much worry in that. And so, you know, I feel too is like there's, I'm seeing a locket here too. And I'm just getting like, they have just like a lot of like hidden disappointments. I feel like it's a disappointment. It's, I don't know. It's almost like an envy. Like, I'm feeling like an envy. Or just like, it's more than disappointment. It's like they're just fed up. Like, they are fed up with, with you just feeling good, like, about things changing and things being in chaos, you know? Or like, do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, you guys get what I'm saying? I'm sure that you do. I'm sure you guys do get this. And then you just come in, you're like, oh, okay, it's a mess. Okay, let it be a mess. Okay, oh, well, this is nice, or this worked, or this, blah, blah, blah. It's like such a positive outlook. I feel like you have a positive outlook. Um, and that's very triggering for them because it's triggering all their control issues. It really is control issues to me. And I think that you're a person who is a lot more carefree. And it's not even that it's carefree. It's just like part of your spirituality. It's like, being in flow, letting things happen and play out as they will. Like, sometimes we can, I'm getting this feeling of, if you do have some psychic abilities, like, and we are able to like foresee, many people can foresee something going wrong, quote unquote wrong, right? Or something not working out. And, sometimes it's like if you keep having to like prevent something from happening, eventually you gotta like pull your energy out and let it just happen and like let it resolve itself. The universe is you have to be patient. I feel like this person is not patient enough, and they've just had it up to here. Like, they're so sick of, and for them, the crazy thing is that them trying to control everything is wreaking havoc and chaos on them, on their mental health, on it's it's almost like, okay, now they have control of their environment, but they don't have control over themselves, kind of thing, right? It's like a trade-off that's happening, is what I'm getting with that. Anyways, so yeah, so this is why they're triggered by you. It's very much this, nine of coins is like how you deal with change, how you deal with what they perceive to be chaos, that you're okay with chaos, you're at peace with it. You're able to see the opportunities in it, even while it's happening, while they may be, so fixated on things not working out the way that, quote unquote, it should, that they're not able to identify the good things in it, and that you are very, I don't know, there's a lot of things I feel like are hidden. Even in this message, there's hidden elements, and I think the message with that is there's things about you that they don't understand, that they can't even see, right? It's just hidden from their view because they are so focused. And I feel like, wow, this is a really strong energy of someone who is so controlling, very controlling. They have like a tunnel vision on how things should be, okay? Um, and I feel like they're trying to avoid chaos, so they end up creating more chaos, like internally for themselves. And you're like, whatever, I don't care, I'm just gonna let it be, and if that's what's gonna happen, I'm gonna let it happen, right? Like, and I'm just going to look for the opportunities in that to bring me closer, because the 9 of coins comes before the 10 of coins as well, right? So this is about, getting one step closer to the things that you desire and you want. And sometimes that's what these storms or these big changes that happen are able to bring in for you, is this like restructuring of things in your environment, so that you can see it as an opportunity to take from it, and it brings you closer to, like, your ultimate goals or your outcomes that you were desiring. And yeah, so I just think that there's some like trigger that is that's way that's that's pretty much what's triggering them. And you know and it's disappointing them because they're trying to control you in essence as well, right? I feel like this person is really trying to control you as well, because if they could get you on board, it's not even their environment that it's not just things, it's people. They like to control people, and they don't like this outlook that you have, because it you having faith in God, this is literally you having faith in God means that they can't control you. They can't pull you into fear like the way that they are consumed by fear, and that's not giving them the outcome that they want. And so yeah, so that's like their problem, right? So that's why they're triggered by you. um they feel like your imprint, like, when I talked about their imprint, because I said there's two parts to this card. Their imprint is to want to control matter. I feel like they want to control their physical environment, and I feel like they see your imprint as creating the chaos, causing the chaos, allowing the chaos. And I just got a big confirmation with yes, exclamation mark with that. And so um, they don't want you to be like on a subconscious level. They don't want you to be like, I don't know. I want to say like they don't want you to be too empowered, because I don't know. I just like, what do I mean by that? Is like, because you're just gonna cause more chaos for them, you know. And you're not even causing chaos. It's just you're not trying to mold and control and do all of that stuff, right? You're just letting things be. But it's just a very vastly different mentality of what we're supposed to be doing. Like, as humans, are we supposed to control, or are we supposed to allow? And so yeah, so it's very triggering for them. Okay, so that is your reading, group 2. If you liked the reading, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to see more videos. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Hi, group 3. Those of you who picked this Larimar and the Knight of Swords, this is your reading on why are they so triggered by you. So okay, why are they so triggered by you? Well, already we're seeing here with storms that, and the number 4, I feel like they are people who like to, with the number 4, is they like things to be stable and like concrete, right? Like set in stone. I'm getting this very set in stone feeling about them. And when, you maybe come in, or there's something about you that is triggering storms in them, right? Within themselves. Here with the squirrel, spiritual maintenance, be your own caretaker. So I see them as somebody who, like a squirrel, is somebody who likes to be prepared in advance. When I'm thinking of like squirrels, like putting away nuts for the winter, or like, just being very, prepared for the future. I see them as somebody like that, like they don't ever want to be caught off guard. They don't like surprises. Um, I'm also getting that they like things to be a certain way. They're very particular about the way that they like things, and it has to be that way. Otherwise, it triggers like anxiety or stress for them. Like, that's what I'm getting with this Larimar as well, because it's good for anxiety and stress, right? And so for you guys, they're triggered by you because, with this addict card, and being your own caretaker. Like, I'm getting an emotional, I mean, obviously triggers are, generally they're pretty emotional, right? You trigger someone and it's an emotional reaction. And I feel like they have certain behaviors. Like I said, they like to control things, or they like to have things a certain way, or done a certain way, so then they can feel like very even keeled. Like, I feel like their emotional balance is very dependent upon certain behaviors, certain practices, certain routines and rituals that they do, or having certain things set in stone. Like, that's what I'm getting with the number 4 as well. And with calming the waters in reverse, peaceful self regulation, I'm getting that, when they step out of these certain patterns of behavior that they do, or someone comes in and disrupts it or disturbs it for them, they become unregulated, right? So they have like addictive, like they're an addict in some sort of way. Like, it doesn't have to be like they're an alcoholic or they're a drug addict, but I'm saying that, this addiction element has to do, like, I'm seeing addiction as a spiritual, as a spiritual issue, right? With wanting to fight, this is such a good picture of like the spiritual aspect of it, of wanting to push against something, wanting to control like the flow of how things are supposed to be. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior, compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. So it's like, I'm getting like, generally when you go with the flow, it's like you're riding the wave. Like, I'm seeing someone floating downstream, and with this, I'm getting someone trying to push something. Like, it's so difficult, right? It looks so difficult to be wanting to control a wave, wanting to control something that's bigger than you, that's greater than you, and dedicating, I feel like, a lot of energy to having things a certain way, just so that you can stay calm and peaceful and regulated within yourself, because you're unable to regulate yourself otherwise. I feel like you come in and you I'm getting like a free spirited energy. I feel like you're very spirit led, and you're not someone who follows these strict patterns of routines, from their perspective, right? And so I think they see you as causing chaos, causing like disturbances to their patterns, and ultimately it doesn't bring peace to them. And I feel like maybe that they see you maybe as reckless, um, you know, uh, you know, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I'm also getting to with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse is, changes that they don't like, making changes that they don't like. I'm also getting this, for some of you guys, this has to do with work. This person could be someone that you work with. Like, I think that, I can see this as being somebody who is, maybe older generation, maybe like a boomer, who it's like, their response is, it's been this way this whole time. There hasn't been a problem. And meanwhile, there's a lot of problems with it. Maybe it's very inefficient or something. Like, you're coming in to change certain processes to improve things, but they're very reluctant and resistant to those changes. And they see it as, now you're going to create chaos, and it's just giving them anxiety, and they want things to stay the same, whether or not it actually works or not. But just because it's the same, that's what they like. And so, like, I don't know. I just feel like this is what's triggering of them. It's just that they have a hard time going with the flow. Um, you know, they don't like change. Like with this King of Wands, they do not like change. It brings so much hardship for them. Because like I said, they want to be in control. Even though, like, I keep hearing that this is so ineffective, because I'm thinking about the squirrels and, like, all this preparation work that they do for all these nuts. They hide them all over the place, and like most of these nuts, they don't even remember where they put them. So it's like their work goes in vain, or like, there's a big percentage of their work that is um, like ineffective or inefficient, or it goes to waste, right? It's like they're spending so much energy just trying to do this stuff that they do, so that they can be at peace. It's so much work. Like, I feel like you know, a lot of people have addictive patterns. Like, with this addict is like, there's so many addictions now. There's so many addictions. And they are all rooted in this, in very, like, we all have different physiologies. So I think that different substances, different foods or like activities hit us differently to give us, that feel good feeling, that dopamine hit, that feeling of control, that feeling like different things do it for us, because we're all different, right? Um, but the underlying drive and the desire to engage in that addictive pattern is essentially like very common, I think, amongst or across the board of different types of addictions. Um, and, it doesn't matter, like, it just doesn't matter, like, I want to say it doesn't matter what this addiction is for them, but you're triggering it. Like, for example, let's use the example of, and I feel I'm getting a lot of working, and I feel like you're trying to help with the Six of Coins, because the Six of Coins has to do with, being generous, being helpful, and I think that you're trying to help and you're trying to relieve uh, some some issue that is like plaguing. I'm getting a lot of work vibes. For a lot of you guys, this has to do with work, or this has to do with someone that you're trying to help, right? But it's like, I'm just getting like you just can't help, because this is like an inside job. I'm getting this is something like they have to learn how to regulate themselves. And addiction is not an easy pattern to break out of, right? It's just not. It's not. And so, it's sometimes you just have to let it be. And like, it's almost like, I don't want to, now I feel like I'm going off topic, like, into giving advice, as opposed to just letting this be about why they're triggered by you. It's just you're creating chaos. It's emotional storms for them, because you're changing up stuff that's already established and set. And I feel like they like to have control. That's really what it is. And you come in and you're very change oriented, or you're making changes, and they just don't have the thick skin for it, spiritually. They don't have like the toughness, like, for it from a spiritual perspective, to be able to walk through chaos or walk through changes, and feel okay with it and not feel dysregulated by it. And I think that whatever addiction that they do have, because they do engage in some type of addiction, whether it's food, whether it's whatever, some type of OCD. Ooh, and the lightning, I just saw some crazy lightning outside. um Maybe some of you guys, this is a big realization. They're going to actively partake in that addiction, in, like, you're triggering their addiction to have more, to eat more, to clean more, to control more, and it's something like they're going to keep hitting the wall. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, so that's your reading, group 3. If you like this reading, please subscribe. Please give it a like. Please comment. Let me know what you think or how it resonated. I'd love to hear from you guys. Take care. All the best. Bye.